Welcome to Private Stories, where people discover who they really are. She was halfway through tying her shoelaces when I finally said it. Go ahead. But the second you walk out that door, our marriage is over. Do not ever come back. She froze, one knee still pressed into the bench, fingers gripping the laces too tight as if they had turned into thin wires cutting into her skin. Her head stayed still. Only her eyes moved, slowly lifting toward me. There it was. Shock, a flicker of irritation, then something colder. Calculation. Silence stretched between us. Then she laughed. Soft, sharp, confident in a way that felt like a quiet insult. You are being dramatic. She stood up, brushed her jeans like there was dust on them even though there was nothing. It is just a trip. That word again. Trip. Always harmless. Always temporary. Always wrapped in something that sounded innocent enough to ignore. Last time it was Miami. Before that it was Las Vegas. Before that it was some lake house in Oregon that somehow had no signal, no photos, no trace. And now, Chicago. Her bag sat near the door. Not the usual oversized tote she used for girls' weekends. No, this one was different. A sleek black case. Minimal. Expensive. The kind of thing people carry when they want to be seen. On top of it sat a small gift bag wrapped in gold foil tied with a thin black ribbon. Not for me. I did not ask. I stopped asking a long time ago. Instead, I leaned against the doorframe, watching her adjust the thin chain around her neck. A necklace I had never seen before. Something delicate. Silver. Too intentional to be random. And I wondered, how many lies can exist in one moment before everything collapses under its own weight? She grabbed her keys. You are really doing this. Now she looked at me fully, as if suddenly I mattered again. After all this time. No. My voice came out quiet, almost calm. You already did. She exhaled sharply, shook her head as if I was the unreasonable one. Then she turned and walked out. No hesitation. No second glance. I did not follow. I did not raise my voice. Did not slam the door. I just stood there, still, watching through the blinds as the car pulled up outside. The driver stepped out, smiled at her in a way that felt too familiar. She smiled back. That same smile she used to give me on slow Sunday mornings. She placed the black case in the trunk. But the gold bag, she kept that in her hand. Then just before getting in, she paused, turned, looked straight at the house, at the window, and me. I did not move, did not wave, did not give her anything. The door closed, the car pulled away, and just like that, she was gone. Yesterday. That was yesterday. And this morning, everything changed, because she left something behind. Something she did not mean to. Something small, flat, cold. It was hidden under the couch cushion. I picked it up slowly. At first I thought it was just a hotel key card. Cheap, forgettable. But when I turned it over, I realized it was not hers. And it was not just a key. It was an access badge. Black surface. White lettering. A clean corporate design. A face stared back at me from the corner of it. A man I had never met. Smirking. Like he knew something I did not. Name. Logan Pierce. The moment I read it, something inside me shifted. Not loud. Not explosive. Just a quiet realization settling deep in my chest. She did not forget her things. She forgot his. And that meant this was not just a trip. Not even close. I sat down slowly, the badge resting in my palm. My heartbeat steady but heavy. Logan Pierce. I had heard that name once. Maybe twice. Casual mentions. Work-related. Nothing important. At least that is what I believed. Back when I still believed things. I placed the badge on the table. Stared at it. As if it might explain itself. But it stayed silent. Cold. Still. Almost mocking. I should have left it there. Should have ignored it. Gone outside. Taken a walk. Pretended everything was fine. Like I always did. But something had already changed. The moment she smiled like I would not mean what I said. The moment she walked out that door. I stood up, walked to the computer, and typed in the name, Logan Pierce. The search results appeared almost instantly. Clean profiles, professional headlines, a digital version of a man who clearly knew how to present himself. I clicked the first link. Company page. Sterling Dynamics. Sleek design. Minimalistic layout. Buzzwords everywhere about innovation, security, advanced systems. I barely read it. I went straight to the leadership section. And there he was, Logan Pierce, Director of Strategic Operations. Sharp jawline, perfectly styled dark hair, a confident half-smile that looked rehearsed. The kind of man who knew exactly how to step into someone else's life and make it look effortless. I clicked his profile, scrolled. Then I saw it. A recent post, uploaded less than an hour ago. A rooftop bar. City lights glowing in the background. 2 glasses of wine. 1 pair of sunglasses placed casually on the table. The caption, long days lead to unforgettable nights. My jaw tightened, because those sunglasses, they were hers. I knew every detail. The oversized frame, the slight scratch near the edge, the exact pair I bought for her last spring. She said she needed something elegant, something simple, something she would only wear on special occasions. And now they were sitting across from another man, hundreds of miles away, while I stood in a silent house that still smelled like her perfume. I leaned back in the chair, staring at the screen, trying to feel something, anger, rage, anything, but all I felt was distance, like I was watching someone else's life unfold. How long? That question kept echoing in my head. How long had this been happening? How many trips were not trips? How many nights had stories behind them I never saw? I thought about the dinner 2 weeks ago, her phone lighting up on the table, the way she flipped it over too quickly. Work. You would not understand. I thought about the night she came home late, hair slightly messy, a different scent clinging to her skin, something sharper than her usual perfume. I asked once. She laughed it off, said I was overthinking. Maybe I was, back then. Now, I stood up slowly. The room suddenly too quiet, too clean, like nothing real had ever happened here. My eyes drifted upstairs, toward the bedroom, toward the one place I had avoided for months without even realizing it. Her nightstand. There was a drawer, one I had not opened in over a year, not because I could not, but because something in me chose not to, chose comfort over truth. I walked up the stairs, each step heavier than the last. The bedroom looked untouched, perfect, like a staged photo. The bed made, pillows aligned, no sign of anything broken, except everything was. I knelt beside her side of the bed, pulled the drawer open slowly. It was too organized, everything placed with intention. Lip balm, a small notebook, a silk scarf I had never seen before, and underneath, a folded sheet of paper, neatly pressed. Waiting, I picked it up, unfolded it, and the moment my eyes scanned the first lines, my stomach dropped. It was not a letter. It was a reservation, a coastal house, private, secluded, ocean view, booked for 2, romantic package included, champagne, late checkout, everything designed for intimacy, and at the bottom, 2 names, Ava Bennett and Logan Pierce. The dates, starting Friday, just a few days away. I stared at it, reading it again, slower, as if maybe I misunderstood. But I did not. This was real, carefully planned, printed, hidden. This was not a mistake. This was intention. And in that moment, something inside me went completely still. She was not just leaving. She was building something else, while still standing in what we had. I stayed there, kneeling beside that drawer, the paper trembling slightly in my hand. The details burned into my mind. 2 guests, oceanfront, private terrace, luxury package. Every line felt like another confirmation, another piece of something I had refused to see. Friday. She already knew, even while packing her bag, even while looking at me like I was the one overreacting. She already had a future scheduled, and I was not part of it. I folded the paper carefully, placed it against my chest for a moment, not out of emotion, but as if I needed to feel something real, something solid, because everything else felt like it was slipping. Then I stood up, walked back downstairs. The house felt different now, not empty, exposed, like every wall held something I had ignored. I poured myself a glass of water, watched the droplets slide down the side, slow, unbothered, everything outside of me still functioning normally, while inside, something had already ended. I set the glass down and opened the old group chat, the one we shared with her friends. Years of photos, trips, jokes I barely understood. I scrolled, not sure what I was looking for. Maybe proof that I was wrong. Maybe anything that could still make sense. Then I found it. A picture posted weeks ago. For women smiling. Bright. Carefree. A girl's trip. At least that is what it was supposed to be. But in the corner, barely visible in the reflection behind them, there she was, Eva. And next to her, a man, his hand resting on her waist, his face close to her neck. The image was blurry, but it did not need to be clear. I already knew. It was him, and suddenly everything aligned. This was not new. This was a pattern, a system, a life happening parallel to mine, right in front of me, and I never saw it. Or maybe, I chose not to. I closed the laptop slowly. The silence returned. Heavier now, because it was no longer empty. It was filled with truth. And I knew, this was only the beginning. I do not remember how long I stood there. Somewhere between minutes and something that felt like hours. The house no longer felt like mine. It felt like a place I had been allowed to stay in temporarily. A version of my life I had misunderstood. Then my phone vibrated. Sharp. Unexpected. I looked down. Home security alert. Motion detected. Front door. My chest tightened. I opened the camera feed. And there she was. Eva. Standing on the porch. Earlier than expected. Her posture was different now. Less confident. Less composed. She looked around before unlocking the door. Like someone unsure of what they might walk into. I did not move. I stepped back into the hallway. Let the shadows swallow me. Not to scare her. Just to see. To understand. The door opened slowly. She stepped inside. Her heels tapped lightly against the floor. Once. Twice. Then she stopped. Right there. Frozen. Because she saw it. The paper. The reservation. Placed carefully on the entry table. Not hidden. Not crumpled. Visible. Intentional. Her entire body stiffened. She did not call my name. Did not move. Just stared. As if it might explode. I stepped out from the shadows. I found it. My voice was calm. Too calm. She turned so fast her bag slipped from her hand. It hit the floor with a heavy sound. Too heavy. Not just makeup and keys. Something more. Her lips parted. Then closed. Her eyes searching. Looking for an excuse. Any excuse. It is not what you think. Stop. Cut her off. The word came out firm. Clean. Almost chujim. I was not going to go. She spoke quickly now. Words rushing over each other. I had not decided yet. I just needed space. I pointed at the paper. That is not space. That is a plan. She flinched. Tears came instantly. Too fast. Too practiced. I made a mistake. Her voice dropped. Soft. Fragile. Like she was the one hurt. I did not know how to tell you. You did not try. I replied. You booked a future. That is not confusion. That is choice. She slid down against the wall. Sitting on the floor. Like everything suddenly became too heavy. I told him I was not sure. She whispered. I told him I needed time. Him. The word hung in the air. I walked to the table, picked up the badge, held it up. He dropped this. She did not even look at it. Did not deny anything. Just covered her face. You lied to me, I said. Quiet. Every trip. Every weekend. He was there. Silence. That silence said more than anything else. Something inside me finally broke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just gone. Why? I asked. Not because I expected truth, but because I needed to hear something. Anything. She looked up. Mascara smudged. Eyes red. He saw me. She whispered. I stared at her. So did I. The words came out before I could stop them. Every day. Every boring moment. Every quiet evening. I was there. She shook her head. No, you were not. Her voice sharpened suddenly. You stopped trying. You stopped looking at me like I mattered. I felt invisible. The words hit. Because somewhere, there was truth in them. Maybe I had grown quiet. Maybe routine had taken over. But I never left. I never replaced her. You should have told me, I said. Instead of giving yourself to someone else. She pushed herself up slowly, her hands trembling. What are you going to do? And there it was. That look. She still believed. I might beg, might forgive, might choose her, like I always had. I walked to the door, opened it. The cold air slipped inside. What are you doing? Her voice cracked. I looked straight at her. I am giving you what you wanted. Freedom. Her face changed instantly. Fear. Real this time. You made your choice. Now I make mine. She stood there, in the middle of the room, like reality finally caught up with her. Like she realized. This time, I was not going to follow. Not going to fix it. Not going to stay. Can we talk? She stepped forward. Please. Like we used to. I almost laughed. Like we used to. Before the lies. Or between your hotel nights. She broke again. Softer now. I did not mean for this. But you allowed it. I replied. You protected it. More than us. Silence filled the room again. But this time, it was final. Clear. I could see everything now. Her patterns. Her distance. Every small sign I ignored. They were never random. They were choices. And I let them happen. Because I did not want to lose her. But somewhere along the way, she had already left. I walked past her. Into the other room. Opened the safe. Pulled out the envelope. When I came back, she was watching. Nervous. Uncertain. I handed it to her. What is this? She asked quietly. My answer. I said. Separation papers. Already prepared. Fair. Clean. Nothing ugly. She stared at it. Like she did not believe it was real. You planned this. She whispered. I planned it the moment you walked away. I just needed proof. And now I had it. She held the envelope like it might disappear if she blinked. Her fingers trembled slightly. You are serious. Her voice barely held together. I did not answer right away, because there was nothing left to explain. You can take the weekend, I said calmly. Read it. Think about it. But I am not staying in this anymore. Monday I file. She looked up at me, eyes wide, searching for hesitation, for doubt, for the old version of me. But he was gone. What about everything we built? The question came out broken, like she already knew the answer. Everything we built, I repeated slowly, deserved better than this. She sat down on the edge of the couch, the envelope resting in her lap. Like a countdown she could not stop. I do not know where to go. She whispered. That makes two of us. I replied. But I know where I am not going. Back. Silence. Heavy. Unavoidable. I do not think you would actually let me go. She said after a moment. You already let yourself go. I answered. I just stopped pretending. I did not throw her out. Did not yell. Did not break anything. That was never who I was. Instead, I walked upstairs. packed a small bag, left without another word. I needed distance, not clarity. That part was already clear. The motel was cheap, off a quiet highway, flickering light outside, thin walls, a tired smell of detergent and old air. No view, no memories, no past. Exactly what I needed. That night, I slept deep, for the first time in a long time. No dreams, no images of her, just silence. Morning came slowly, through faded curtains. I stayed still, staring at the ceiling, letting the quiet settle. Then my phone vibrated. I had turned everything off, ignored the world. But now, there it was, 12 missed calls, all from her. My chest tightened. I opened the messages. First, apologies, long, emotional, chaotic. Then, they changed. Short, uneven. Did you do this? Where is my laptop? Please answer. Something is wrong. I sat up, heart suddenly faster. This was different. Not about us. Something else. I called her. No answer. Again. Voicemail. Then, an email notification. From the bank. Security alert. Unusual login detected. Location. Seattle. I frowned. That made no sense. I had not been there in years. Neither had she. At least, not that I knew of. I logged in, hands slightly unsteady, and then I saw it. 2 failed attempts. 1 successful. A transfer. $15,000. Gone. My breath caught. I opened the details. The account name. Partially hidden, but enough to see. Pierce Consulting. My chest went cold. He did not just take her. He took from us. My phone rang again. Her name. I answered. What did you do? My voice was flat, controlled. I did nothing. She sounded panicked. I swear. I let him use my laptop. Last week. I needed help with something. He must have saved something. Seen something. You gave him access. I cut in. No, not like that. Her voice cracked. But yes, exactly like that. Silence. Heavy. I thought it was just us. She whispered. That word. Felt hollow now. You do not know him. I said quietly. You only know how he made you feel. That is the difference. She started crying again. But this time, sounded real. What do I do? She asked. I already called the bank. They said they will investigate. The money is gone. No, I replied. It is stolen. And that changes everything. Because this was no longer just betrayal. This was something else. Something colder. Calculated. You need to tell them everything. I said. Everything. There was a pause. Then, are you calling the police? Yes. You are serious. He took from us. I said. And if I do nothing, I become part of it. Silence. Then very quiet. Okay. For the first time, she understood. Not just what she did to me, but what she had stepped into, and who she had trusted. The police station felt colder than expected. Not physically. Something else. A different kind of reality settling in. The officer listened. Calm. Patient. Like he had seen versions of this before. But maybe not exactly like this. I explained everything. The trips. The lies. The access. The transfer. The name. Logan Pierce. The officer leaned back slightly. This could be fraud, he said. Possibly more. If he used false accounts. If this was planned. Which it likely was. That part did not surprise me anymore. Some people do not just take opportunities. They create them. And I had been one. We will investigate, he continued. But these things take time. People like this. They rarely leave easy trails. I nodded. I expected that. When I left the station, the world felt different again. Quieter, but clearer. When I got home, something felt off immediately. The air, the silence, her car, gone. I walked inside. Slowly. The house looked the same. But it was not. Upstairs. The closet doors were open, drawers half empty. She had taken things. Not everything, just enough. Like she was unsure if she would return, or did not plan to. There was a note on the dresser, my name written quickly. I stared at it, longer than I expected, then opened it. I did not know what else to do. I could not stay. I could not face everything at once. You were right. I broke something. Not just us. Myself. I am not running. I just need time. I am sorry. I folded the note slowly. Set it down. No anger. No reaction. Just understanding. This was over. Completely. I checked the safe. Everything's still there. Except one thing. The key to the second deposit box. Missing. A quiet realization settled in. This was not finished yet. I called the bank. Requested access records. And then, the final confirmation. Someone had already been there. This morning. Using my credentials. With a woman. My pulse rose. That was not me. Which meant, she had gone. Or someone using her name. Either way, another line had been crossed. I stood there, in the middle of the room, and understood something clearly. The woman I loved was gone. Not physically, completely, and whatever remained was no longer part of my life. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Visit our channel for interesting and intriguing stories.